Hello, everyone. Welcome to some 510 Funhouse. That's right, the 510 Funhouse, as it were. We are here today playing some $5, $10 no limit Texas Hold'em, not as part of Run It Up. We are just here playing. I was sitting waiting for a game to open for some amount of time, and it didn't look like there was going to be a seat anytime soon, so I figured might as well play the current biggest game running, which is 510, and we'll see what we can do here. So this is not a run it up. We did not take 1,000 of our 1,200 and put it on the line, as ballin' slash crazy as that would be. You know, we're doing it on my dime. This one's on me, kids. You just hang out, relax. So yeah, this was the very first weekend that I had like predetermined I was going to take off from video making, and it was fantastic. It wasn't so much that like the burden of videos was gone, that wasn't it, but I was able to like actually do other things, like other work that I'd been putting off for a long time, and actually ended up with like a semi-free night one of those days. I had some like really good creative ideas, met with a couple people that were like really had some good things to say. So I'm super excited, re-energized. I love this Monday through Friday thing that we're going to try to do. New videos every single day. They'll be consistent, great, quality. It'll be lovely. I think you'll be happy. I'm happy. Hey, when working the ask for. In this hand, I opened the button and got 3-bet by the only guy that I recognized, 808 Grinder. And we will be starting here with a call. We could argue to raise and then call if he shoves, but, let's just call. That's a pretty good turn card for us. I'm afraid that if he has a hand like kings, he might just shut down now because his board is a little scary. But, I don't think we have any choice but to bet. Checking doesn't make any sense. There are some scary river cards, and, if he has an overpair, he has to just check shove, obviously. So let's start with a bet. I think 180 is fine. It looks like we could be just stabbing here with any number of hands. Happily going to be calling. Ace and jack. Not the best hand, I'm afraid. Easy 1K bill there. I mean, we want to flip effectively, but yeah, I think I like how he played that hand, and I don't hate how he played that hand either, except, he has to expect us to bet fold on that turn somewhat often, and I guess we do, but I don't really know what he thinks of us, and that whole play is so relevant. So you can only know if that play is okay based on your opponent. If your opponent is never bet folding, then you're just getting your money in bad. But I'm sure I'm bet folding, and it probably is fine. So yeah, I had a great weekend. I beat Grand Theft Auto on like Friday or something. I don't even know how I had the time to do that, but I did. It was great. And watched the League of Legends finals on Friday. That was fun too. I made it was probably the biggest bet I've ever made on esports and nailed it. I was excited about that. I believed, I guess I can spoil it now 4 days later, but I believed, Faker, Bengi, I believed, and I was right. So that was pretty sweet, and this week should be exciting. There's some different stuff going on this week. I've actually got my crew in town, so there'll be some videos in the brew, brewing some videos. I have this dream of making a couple either Magic streams or maybe doing extra Magic videos because the new set just got released, and I've been playing a bunch of that. And even though I don't think I'm like good or anything, I think I'm probably like a winner against the field, and it'll be fun, right? Who cares? Well, what's the worst thing that can happen? I think it'll be fun. So I have this dream of doing a couple of drafts of Magic as well this week. So and a couple other things that I've been working on that I think you'll be excited about. In fact, the day Monday today evening, Monday evening, we are not folding with the king and the deuce, although I actually think we should just re-raise here because it is only king deuce, risking 65 to win 35. This wins often enough right here. Now he does 3-bet us sometimes, and then you just get owned a little bit. Whereas calling would still be fine. This gives him a chance to end it right now and not play a pot out of position. And at the 5-10 level, maybe it's better just to call than it is to re-raise there. But it's got to be fine. We don't know our opponent. It's got to be a fine attempt. It works often enough, and he calls and we win the pot post flop fairly often. So I might have given away $75 there, but it can't be too bad. We flopped a 3 straight, That's cool. Gonna start here with a bet. Our opponent says, I don't believe you. On the old 4 turn card, I assume he still doesn't believe me. We have like hit the bell. Still doesn't believe me, but we're gonna try to get the job done here. I mean, 4 deuce is a pretty horrible run out for us. If he has any pair, he doesn't fold, and we can have so many things that are just nothing. I think I'm gonna give up. I was really committed to firing off the 3 bullets there. I don't know what this was. I don't know what this was, but I was gonna do that, and then decided to go. Queen was never folding. The old 4 deuce run out saved us because I don't think that was folding to most turns and rivers. So I'll be opening to 30 on the button here just because this guy's got 2K, we've got 2K. Let's play bigger pots in position, huh? Doesn't that sound right to you? That sounds right to me. All right, so we're going to start here with a call, deep, etc. Not loving this. Hands like this are not really the greatest to fight back with in spots like this, but, I'm always looking for a little fight, so certainly not going to say no. Can't say no to this. We have a pair, gut shot, overcard. We could just have the best hand right now, and maybe he has just a hand doesn't have a spade in it, and then a spade rolls off, or 8, queen, 6. There are lots of cards that could come off that could let us win this pot. If he bombs it on this turn here, and I guess this counts as like a mid-grade bomb. If he bombs it here, I think we just fold. I don't know him well enough to know we could make it like 700 here and win, or like 680 and win. And I don't want to call, calling, it might just induce him to bluff again. So I think we just fold, I think having a red 7 there is probably towards the bottom end of what the hands we end up with there, right? If you imagine all the hands we call with pre-flop, all the hands we call with on the flop there, of all of those hands that show up on the 7, 9, 10, ace, 4 spade board, I think we can fold Jack 7 of hearts and not feel too bad about it. I'm just saying. I think, you can't do it. Can't win them all, kids. I try, but can't win them all. All right, limped here with the 8 and 7. Once again, we're going to start here with the old $10 bet. Our opponent is calling once more. Great turn card for us, though, as now we have a 4 in a row. Once again, we can kind of get shut down here on like a deuce river. That might convince me not to bet again. On a 6, though, I don't think he ever folds a queen or a jack. I think there's a chance that he'll fold. All I want him to do is fold a non-pair. All I want him to do is fold a non-pair hand. And I'm not even sure he does that. If he has like ace 10, he might not even fold ace 10. But I think he'll fold ace 10 often enough for this to be fine. He folds like 10-9, like the real silly draws, the like 10-4 of diamonds, stuff like that. That's all I'm really trying to accomplish with that bet. So actually maybe we should bet like 40 just to get him to definitely fold those silly things. But I thought 60 might have some chance of also getting him to fold like a jack. Even though that might be unrealistic. We don't know our opponent well enough to know how unrealistic that actually is. Going to raise it up here. Don't see why we shouldn't. I got an ace and the button. What more do we need here? Let's not be greedy. Pretty good flop for us. Flop the old double gut shot. Any deuce or 6 will give us a straight. Not that a 6 does fantastic things for us, but a deuce certainly would. Going to start here with a bet. Better hands than us certainly fold sometimes. Better ace highs will fold, maybe like deuces or 3s will fold 4-3 suited, maybe something like that, although I doubt it. Certainly we can begin the hammering on the flop there. No one says yes. So you go, okay, there you go. Folding the old king and deuce. And by the way, yes, this shirt you can't really see the whole way through, and that is it's the t-shirt, all right. That's right. I'm excited about this one. I was happy to get this one. I was like, I have to do a video with this t-shirt ASAP. That's it, ASAP. So here we are, getting in there, battling it out. The old 7-6 offsuit, probably good enough to see a flop with. Certainly for $10 more. It's so cheap. How do you say no? Can't turn down a bargain. We've managed to make it to pair status, which is always sweet. Probably, well, certainly not folding here. He decides to check back. So we probably have the best hand. We might not, especially. We probably had the best hand on flop, though. Once in a while, people will check back hands like 9s, which is always sad because then, we're in pretty bad shape and we're going to bet and get ourselves in trouble. I think, though, well, At this point, if he has a better hand than us, he doesn't fold, right? If he has 9, he's not folding if he has 9, right? So I think the best thing to do here is to check and then make a decision. If our opponent is never bluffing, then we want to just fold. If our opponent can be bluffing sometimes with hands like ace-10 or spades or 7-8, then we'd end up check calling. I would have probably at least considered check calling, but our opponent was a bit of a nit and didn't want to get some of that value out of us there, which is fine by me. You know, we played our hands all very nicely. Check and call, check and check. Check and check. It was all like very friendly poker. All right, he looks like a friendly guy over there. A Rick Moranis thing going on. Sure, whatever. Whatever. We got him. We got a little Navy guy over there, looking great over there, looking sharp. Came dressed for his 5-10 game, looking fresh. Of course, us always looking fresh. Leprechaun avatar. You know, Conor McGregor. We ride in style. You know, that's the only way we do it. And then we got Karthus over there, the guy with the hood. You know, there's always that one guy at the poker table where everyone else is just like normal, friendly, happy. Then there's one guy with the hood, not talking, with earbuds in, just like playing online poker in real life. There's always that guy, right? And we got one of those too. Certainly going to be raising here with ace-4 of spades. If you've watched these videos, you know that was going to be a slam dunk raise, not even a question. And we do pick up that $15 there. I think I recognize this Corp guy, although, you know, I don't really know for sure, but I think I recognize him from probably playing with him before. Oh, this Worm 311 guy, I definitely recognize. I played with him before at like 25-50, maybe even the 100-200 game that ran a couple times. He might have been in there. So I don't know who it is, but I think he's pretty good. I'm not 100% sure though. Don't love the seat that we have because he's got direct position on us, but you know, whatever. So in this spot, we could arguably check raise, which would be fine. We could check call, which would also be fine. I think I'm going to start with the check raise here. Maybe this is bad because this guy might just be such a nit that he's only continuing here with like super strong hands. But I felt like there was some chance we could get it in against worse and stuff like that. So now I was considering checking and like kind of representing a give up and letting him try to take a stab himself. But I think I might just call it off. Like bet like we're trying to pretend that we have like hearts or, you know, something drawy, and then hope that he shoves with the hand like 2 6s or 2 jacks or something like that. But I'm not necessarily sure. I don't always play that hand that way. That was a little bit weird for me, but I thought it was worth the try. But our Navy friend over there, too smart for us. We put the little cupcake out. We put it out, and no takers, unfortunately. All right, so this guy limped under the gun, and then everything else was just pretty passive. We're going to start here with a lead, because, hey, this has to work often enough. We have a 3 straight, 3 flush, overcard. You know, come on. What more do you really want in life here? So our opponent defends, our opponent in the big blind particularly defends. So he could have himself a 4 or a 7 or any kind of straight draw, which we actually beat. I'm going to start here with a bet. There's a chance he'll fold if he just has a 4 now. And if he has a straight draw, we're actually ahead, which would be kind of interesting. And once in a while, yeah, we just get him to fold like he has ace-3 or ace-5. So I think we get the job done there with 2 swings at the piñata. I suppose we'll just fold the queen-3. The heater ride has come to an end. So this is a run it up, right? I said this was a run it up, didn't I? Just kidding. Just kidding. Like that guy, whoever that was in the comments of like run it up 44, who was like, Jay Carver, don't you think it's wrong to count a tournament as a win after you win? I said from the beginning I was playing a run it up, you know? Come on. Well, I wouldn't do that to you guys. That would be something. That would be something. All right. So this is going to be the last couple days of these viewer questions. Then we're going to change up the format a little bit. I've got something else in mind. A couple days from now. I don't want to say yet because there's still such a big pile, which we probably won't even get through all of them. But we'll get through all of them eventually. We'll just have a new pile. You'll see. We could raise this, but I think calling is fine too. If you have Queen 9, you'd call a lot. If you have Queen Jack, you'd at least consider re-raising a little bit more. But I think this hand is fine. You just call. Against this opponent on this flop, I think we'll start with the check raise. But I don't see why not. I think it's fine. Could make it 100. That would also be fine. Like 105. Any of these numbers are fine, I think. 90 is probably the smallest. That is probably reasonable to make it. Close. We have a gut shot still, in case you've missed out. So I'm going to bet here twice. We'll see what our opponent does. If he raises, we obviously just have to fold. There's no reason to suspect that our opponent is raised folding on the turn here, given no history and whatnot. I think there's a chance he'll fold here on the turn with a hand better than ours. Once in a while, he'll fold like a 9 and 8. I don't think he's folding many good aces, but he'll fold, like maybe he'll fold ace deuce once in a blue moon, depending on what he thinks of us. Once in a blue moon. What am I? All of a sudden, I became Carrie Underwood over here. That's right, Carrie Underwood. That's who I became. That's right. I won't sing for you. Don't get too excited. All right, let's read one of these viewer questions here because, hey, it's got my name on it, literally. So let's do it. So in case you're not familiar with any of these video things I'm doing, I've got an email address that I am reading emails off of. So if you have a question for me, email me, dearjcarver@gmail.com, and say, hey, Dear J. Carver, answer my question, bitch. And you might see your question here on Run It Up. It's possible. All right, let's pull a question. The very top question actually is a good one. Let's do this one. Dear Jay Carver, what is the worst bad beat you have ever had, both live and online? A fan, Brett. Ha, yes. All right. My I like the PS there. It's great. So the question is about, the worst bad beats I've ever had live and online. Well, online, I got second or third. I think I got second once or twice in the big Sunday majors. There was a Sunday major that I got. Well, excuse me, I can't be too upset about because I got like a first, second, third, and like a fifth, and then like a seventh in one particular Sunday major. So you really can't say it's too brutal, but I lost like kings versus jacks or something with some amount of people left, and with like 2 or 3 left or something like that. That was probably for like 50K in chips, because I think it was for the match. So it was like for almost all the chips in play or something like that. And if I had won that, then it would have been a thing. It would have been obviously a big thing. But I don't think I can't think of like any huge cash game pot that I was like super favored in that I lost. Nothing that was bigger than like 30 or 40K, which is still big, but nothing that was like incredibly I don't have like a 200K pot that I ever lost, that I lost as an underdog or anything like that. I've played a lot of 50K pots in my life, like a lot maybe means like a dozen or something like that, but none of them I can't remember being anything particularly brutal besides in like tournament spots. Live, I'm sure like in terms of equity lost, there have got to be some like really sickening spots, like in terms of even like, just in terms of pure equity. Because if there's three players left in a tournament and you lose 70-30, for whatever that is in equity, it could be 300K, 400K. I mean, I lost queens to king 10 of Jake Bossiger in the main event last year, and that was with like 69 left for like whatever it was, 25 big blind pot total, and that stack is probably worth $1 million and change, something like that. So I lost a 70-30 for like $1 million, but that's not really necessarily true. And I also got so lucky in that tournament so many other times that really can't be too upset with things like that. And it's tournament poker, it happens. So hopefully, eventually, I'll have a story that tops all of these, with some huge loss that I got sucked out on. Because nothing is more fun than high stakes poker, even in retirement. I still love me some high stakes poker. So I bet out on this flop here, and I bet out on this turn. A little something different again. Little, don't usually play this hand that way, but I felt like doing it that time, and I felt like it would be a decent spot to do it. But our opponent outsmarts us. So we could re-raise here, but I think calling is fine as well. I really don't care what you do here in this spot. Calling is fine. I probably re-raise a similar percentage to calling. It all depends on our opponent, and I haven't really been paying attention, and I don't know really anything about him, so I felt like calling was fine. If our opponent checks back, it'll probably be a green light for us to fire ahead on a decent number of turn cards, but I think we'll just check fold here. Sometimes we can get frisky, and yeah, that's right. Sometimes we can get frisky, but I think folding is fine. Let's not get too silly here. Ace 5 of spades, certainly going to be raising this up. Live, when I think of like a bad beat live, I think of there we go. I think of Monte Carlo in like 2005 or something like that. It was my first big major tournament where I had a deep run, and I remember. This is a good story. There's a moral. We'll play the hand first, and then we'll go back to the Monte Carlo story. So I raised her on the button, and this 808 grinder guy decides to 3-bet us. Worm 311 gives away his $30 as part of the donation. This is probably the end of the story for us. We, even with my optimism, we could have the best hand with ace high, but don't even have backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw. Ace might not even be good. We could be drawing dead very easily. So, all right. Next. Let's see if we got a hand under the gun. Otherwise, we'll be switching to storytime mode. It's close, but you know what? Storytime equity is worth more than the raise of the ace 4 equity, right? Yeah, that's right. So we could do a camera change. You want to do a camera change? All right, let's do a quick camera change. Let's do a quick camera change. Let's talk to this camera. I haven't talked to this camera in a long time, They just got everything all set up, and now, let's talk to this camera. Sure, why not? That's doing nothing over there. Don't even worry about it. So Monte Carlo is like 2005, and there were maybe like 40, 50 people left in the tournament. And I remember there was a tournament where there was a spot where it went like shove from a small stack, like a three big blind small stack. We might have to switch back to this poker thing over here that's keeping me engaged. It was like a shove from the small stack. I just cold called with 2 7s, which was definitely a mistake. All right, we got to go back to poker, I'm afraid. It was definitely a oops. Sorry about that. Button pressing is tough. So yeah, it was like 40 left. Somebody shoved for 2 big blinds. I call with pocket 7s. Folds to like a guy in the behind me somewhere, and I think we just call here. I don't love it, but I actually really don't like the spot too much because he really can't do a lot. We're in the big blind. He's under the gun. We have a hand that looks weak, and our hand is weak, which is never a good thing to have both things be true. I actually could arguably just check fold on this flop to a guy like this, who I think is going to probably put the gas on us the rest of the way here and just put us in the cage. So I think that flop call is probably a little suspect. We just flushed away $50 there or whatever it was, but it can't be again, it's not like we're losing $50 every single time there, but that's probably a bit of a mistake. Let's raise this up. I think it's fine. I think 100 is sufficient given stack sizes and such. So yeah, it folds around to like the big blind, who goes all in and folds back to me, and mathematically speaking, I should call. I should. But he does a version of Beth Shack's Dancing for Aces. If you've never seen it, you should look it up. Google, it's on YouTube. Beth Shack Dancing for Aces. Or something like that. And Beth, in a World Series event, back in like, I don't know what year it was, Phil Hellmuth, Brett Ritchie, and and Beth Shack are like, Phil Hellmuth and Beth Shack both have aces, and Brett Ritchie has kings. And before the action is complete, Brett Ritchie is still thinking, and Beth Shack is like dancing. She's like signaling ace to her like side corner, like it's a complete hilarious, like unbelievably like textbook she's strong tells. And like it's not even a tell. She's like literally like saying she has aces, to like her supporters, and it's like it's a crazy thing. And that's what this was kind of like. The guy was so enthusiastic. He was like, "I'm ready to go home. Send me home, kid. I'm ready to go home." Like he was like so acting strong, and I really believed him. So I thought it was likely that the guy probably had a big hand. So I ended up folding. And turns out the guy had ace king, and my sevens would have won. So instead of being chip lead, I ended up just, losing 3 big blinds or whatever. So that was already unfortunate. That was with like 27 left or something like that. And then a little while later, it was like maybe 25. No, what am I saying? It was like 16 left because there were 8-handed, and maybe 15, something like that. 15, 18, something in that realm. And I got it in. It was a raise to my right. I had ace queen. I think it was like 20K, 40K. The guy made it 90K. I shoved for like 900K. I could be totally wrong with these bet sizes, but I think this is right. And the guy tanks for forever and calls. So average stack is probably about like 1.5, 1.8. I don't know exactly, but something like that. And so he calls. So we've got a lot of money in the pot here. It's like 2 million something. I have ace queen. He has ace 10. And I remember I was like 19 or 20 or something like that when this all happened. And I remember the like wall of like reporters. And this was the year that Peter DeCorver ended up winning, I think. Spoiler alert, it wasn't me. So there was like a wall of reporters that were surrounding us, and media and cameras, and all the players were watching. And the dealer obviously is where the dealer's supposed to be. And I was to the direct right of the dealer in like the 8 seat. So if you're not familiar with how poker seats work, if the dealer is here where the pot is, this is the 1 seat, 2 seat, 3 seat, 4 seat, 5 seat, 6 seat, 7 seat, 8 seat, 9 seat, right? I was here where the picture is. You can't really see it, but I'm where like picture is in the avatar. So the dealer puts down the 3 cards, because that's how they do it. That's how they do it in Europe. 1, 2, 3. Or I guess I do it everywhere. Europe too. And picks up the 3 stack of cards and moves it over, and then lifts it up, to start sprawling it over, giving me the perfect angle to see the cards from the 8 seat. So I have the perfect angle to see, and in the door card is the 10. So before anyone else knows, I'm like, oh my God. oh, brother. And so, yep, flop is 10 high. Oh God. And I remember Space Gravy, who was still in, saying something like, he was like more upset verbally than I was. I was just like, yeah, whatever. Although I was teamed, of course, but I wasn't like, outwardly tilting. And at least I don't think so. So yeah, it comes 10 high, brick, and I ended up going out like 15th or 16th or 18th or whatever it was. And that to me was like the most brutal beat that I ever took in a tournament. Not that it's anything crazy. It's not a one-outer on the river or anything like that, but it was my first deep run. If I had won that, the tournament was so soft, and first place was like something insane. It was like 3 or 4 million euros or something like crazy. So even if I had just made it to like 8th, it would have been a life-changing experience for me to have got 8th for, my life earnings at that point weren't more than like 100 or 200K. I don't know about that, but it would have been significant for me to have made the final table, not just as like for the money of it, but for the experience of it, for being on camera the first time, for being on a stage like that, for my, for that general stage of the, back in those days, if you like won a tournament, you got like an insta deal with any site you wanted also. It was crazy. It was so yeah, it would have been big for me to have won that, but it was not to be. It was not to be. Gonna be betting here with my 9 high, not even a backdoor anything. We have a backdoor nothing draw. Literally could not make anything better than 3 of a kind this hand. Okay, perfect, not necessary. Ship to 9-10 profit. We'll probably play out the remainder of this orbit. Maybe we should another review or question. We've only done one question out the window. All right, looks like we got ourselves another hand here, and then we'll read a question. Oh, all right. All right, we'll do 4 more hands. One more orbit, you know. I won't quit yet. We'll hold it on for another 4 hands. All right, dear Jay Carver. Dear Jay Carver, congrats on the huge run-up tourney win. I wanted to say I actually laugh at the jokes and your Anderson Silva voice. Ha! Of course. Why would you not laugh at my Anderson Silva voice? It's normal. It's normal. I'm here for the fight, for the fighting, for the UFC. Of course, I love the Anderson Silva voice. It's normal. It's great. It's awesome. I love it. It's my favorite impression right now because it makes me laugh instantly. Instantly, I just laugh. I can't help it. It's a great impression. Anyway, question. What stakes do you usually play if you were running up your real bankroll, and would we ever get to see you play that? I'm not sure if that's a valid request, but it would be nice to see. Also, please more story time about the big pros. Love the stories. Your biggest fan, Kelvin. Well, thank you, Kelvin. I appreciate all of that. Great question. Great email. Definitely, you would be in contendership for the refrigerator, but you know, as I'm sure you understand, it's currently occupied by the best picture I've ever been sent in my life. Top 5 picture I've ever been sent in my life. Definitely, but top 2 from a fan. All right, maybe top 1 from a fan. Something about that seems very sexual, but I didn't mean it that way. I just wanted to leave myself some wiggle room for a better for a better picture. But no, I guess I'm playing weak type poker. I just call and then check fold here. I could have checked raise or done something, but apparently none of that was to be. We were distracted. So, question. Your question was, what stakes would I play if I was running up my real bankroll? Well, I don't really think there's like a fair answer to that because I basically play whatever, you know, but I don't really have like a segregated bankroll right now. I just kind of have like a life roll thing that I just play poker with from time to time, and you know, it's complicated. That's the the short answer to your question. I mean, I don't play poker that often anymore for fun or profit. Really, I've just kind of focused most of my time on other challenges, you know, other different projects and things like that. And I still love poker, don't get me wrong, and I'm sure I'll get more into poker in the future. But this particular time in my life, I just have other things going on that I'm kind of like spending most of my time on. So I don't really have like a go-to game, but I would play anywhere from like 25-50 to probably the highest that I would like comfortably play without like being a little intimidated by the stakes is probably 300-600. Anything higher than that, and I would probably be. It would be gambling time. it would be gambling time. So the highest I ever played live in a casino is only 150, 300. I don't think I ever played higher than that in a casino. But the highest I've ever played in in home games and stuff is way higher. But you know, we've talked about that before. So yeah, we probably won't ever get to see. Well, this is pretty close. 510 is not that far from 25-50. So I think if the game is run from time to time, you can definitely see it, I think, but until we get you guys might see some higher stakes cash games eventually, but I'm not really sure, especially because online there's not really anything higher than 510 or 1020 running these days, but I think eventually we could see 25-50 from time to time and, maybe higher for like a real special occasion. I could definitely see it happening. All right, so that's it. That's the video. We ran up my bankroll. We ended up winning $434.70. All right. That is sweet, I guess. Let me know what you guys thought about this video. I thought this was a fun one. I enjoyed it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We'll be back every single day, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, unless there's some sort of an error like last Friday. It wasn't my fault, I swear. Yeah, back every day this week, Monday through Friday. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Tweet at me at Jason Somerville. Yes, that's right. And be like, hey, Jay Carver, loving all the videos. Monday through Friday is a great thing. If you're happy. If you're not happy, don't tweet me. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. We're doing long videos Monday through Friday. It's great. Quality, consistency. You know, it's a lovely, beautiful thing. Anyway, thanks much for watching as always, guys, and I will see you soon. Peace. The long distance peace.